Hello, I'm Kelly Condren, ISPI Michigan's VP of Marketing, and I'm here today with Michael L. Schwartz. Michael will be with us on September 15th at our next ISPI meeting and starting us off for the fall. So it's back to school for everyone, and I thought I would take a moment to talk with Michael a little bit about his program, which will be on Appreciative Inquiry, and interview him, ask him a few questions so that you as participants in the program can get a better feel for what to expect and what you'll learn during the program. So, Michael, thanks for being here with me today.
My pleasure, Kelly. Thanks for inviting me.
Great.
And appreciate the opportunity to speak in September.
Okay, good. So, the first question I have, because some people may have heard of Appreciative Inquiry, but maybe they're not quite sure what it is. So, can you give me a quick definition of what it is and what it means to you?
Sure. Well, first, I'm going to refer to it probably as AI because it's a lot easier, not to be confused with artificial intelligence. It is Appreciative Inquiry, and I guess the best way to look at it is that AI looks for the best in people and organizations. When you do an Appreciative Inquiry, you look for what the company or what the people do best, what the strengths are, and you build upon those strengths. Mm-hmm. By doing that, you make any real or perceived weaknesses or shortcomings irrelevant. You know, they don't necessarily go away, but they become irrelevant.
So do you think that AI is underutilized?
Oh, that's an interesting question, and it's not a simple yes or no answer. Mm-hmm. From my experience, a lot of people either haven't heard about AI, or if they have, they don't really understand what it is, even though they might think they do. Mm-hmm. So I know people who have looked at it on some kind of touchy-feely group sitting around a campfire holding hands singing Kumbaya. And you may want to do that after it's done, but that isn't what it is. And I also know people, for better or for worse, that still believe in that everything comes from the top down, that the management just issues a directive and everybody goes along in march step, kind of like, the George Orwell 1984 novel and the many movies. But that's not what it is. So in that sense, AI is underutilized because of lack of education, lack of understanding what it is.
Mm-hmm. And then the last thing is, if you can just give us a small snapshot of what people can expect on the 15th, what kinds of things you'll be sharing, and what they'll be able to take away.
Okay. I'm going to provide, of course, a little bit of an overview of the development of AI, how it works, why it's so successful, why it's so versatile. The few examples I gave a few minutes ago, I will expand on a number of examples and how they've worked and how successful they've been. And I'll discuss the process is called a 4D. Okay? And it's a somewhat structured process, and the D's stand for discovery, dream, design, and destiny. And starting with the discovery phase, we look at where we want to be in the future, and we take that through the 4 phases to, how do we get there, and then eventually we look back, we imagine ourselves in the future, and then look back and how did we get here. Mm-hmm. And I'll go into more detail on those and how that's done. And I'll give some examples, and I'll try to answer anybody's questions. And I also, Kelly, on the ISPI LinkedIn group, I did ask people to send me questions in advance so that I can prepare answers.
True.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to that. And, of course, we will have audience participation.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I'm actually expecting to do a couple of exercises with the attendees that I hope everybody will enjoy. And if you want to know what they are, you have to come.
That's great.
Okay.
So yes, thank you for the reminder about LinkedIn. If you are not part of our group on LinkedIn, you'll want to make sure that you do get on that group membership, because we will be starting some discussions, and as Michael said, you can ask any questions that you might have so he can start answering those. We're putting together a list of those questions that he'll be answering at the September 15th event. So you have to be there in order to get all this good information. So we hope that you reserve the time and that you plan on attending. Look forward to seeing you in September. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.